Today is race day, the real one.
No, wait, yeah. What the f was that?
Right, so Misha's second lap going into Flugplatz turned in, car just went round, hit the wall fairly hard from what I can see. I saw smoke come up, so I assume that's coolant. And yeah, I mean that's our qualifying over already. I don't know what that means for the race. I don't know if the car's fixable. All we've got right now is a live stream of our car looking at a barrier, so yeah, not the start we want, of course. We've got a few hours before the race, but we don't have a lot of spares for this car. You know, it's not a race car, it's a road car. A lot of stuff sort of just made for this, so just to have it in the wall straight away is not ideal. Importantly, Misha's okay, got out of the car straight away, which is what we want to see. Obviously for our race though, you know, it's 8:20 in the morning, and we've already had a big shunt. So yeah, I don't know what this means for us now.
What it meant is that we were now playing a little bit of a waiting game. Thankfully, the news that Misha was okay had got back to us, so that was our main concern out of the way. But with a car on a long journey to the pit lane on the back of a recovery truck, we didn't know how bad the damage was. And the question wasn't can we get out of a qualifying, it was whether we would make the race or not.
So no news as of yet, but one of the other drivers, Black Falcon, went by the car, and his words, it looked pretty dinged up. Just have to hope it's bodywork damage. It's unlikely. Yeah, the move's dropped a bit, as you can probably imagine. Ow! Sometimes you get a gentle reminder that this place likes to bite a little bit.
Good? I'm fine.
Just looking at it, one of the arms is broken, so the front wheel's like that. That's an easy one to fix. But otherwise, they're all like kind of straight, which is the main thing. Rear wheels are straight. Chassis looks straight, but we won't know until we look at it properly. We might be able to get out there for the race. If anyone's going to fix it, it'll be the Black Falcon guys. These guys, they're already on it. They're already there with their video and bits, notepads, etc. They've already they've got a plan of action already. So.
Of the teams that operate at the Nürburgring, Black Falcon are probably one of the most respected. The moment the car touched the floor, the mechanics descended upon it, ripping off any loose panels, anything damaged straight away, in an effort to try and accurately discern how much damage there was to this car and whether it was fixable in time for the race. But the time pressure for this was absolutely enormous. We only had about 4 hours before we had to be on the grid for the race, and looking at the car in its current state, it was hard to see that happening.
So basically we're at the sort of the mercy of the other teams now. There's no structural damage from what we can see, which is great. The problem is, of course, now is the list of parts we need. There are other teams racing here that do carry spares, but only one spare. So it's going to ask them very nicely under the pretense that we're going to replace it. Now I've got a whole new front end there, front crash bar. To bolt on to sort of replace the one there. The one we've got is slightly bent. But yeah, I don't know if you can see, there's a list there. You guys got a list. That's what we need. Pretty much. Big list. So the actual downside to running a car that isn't a race car is that these parts aren't readily available. You've got to go to a BMW dealership to go get them, you know. If you crash a GT3 car, well, one, your wallet's dead, but two, like, there are places around here you can get spare parts. Much more difficult here, but the Black Falcon guys are doing an amazing job so far. The car's already a lot better than it was when it came in. But it's a race against time now. Time now is 11:15, and we've got to be sort of realistic on the grid for about 3 p.m. So just under 4 hours. How cool is this? Look, you've got a little autograph car. Where my long crazy hair. And we got this little guy.
In the middle of the door there's a white, orange,
so a sticker.
Yeah. Is there a sticker?
Yeah.
That's my race car.
So as you can see from the crowds here, this is the biggest race that I've ever taken part in. And whilst we were outside sunning ourselves and signing our little nice autograph things to all you beautiful people who came to say hello, to offer us kind words of support, Black Falcon was still hard at work in the background, desperately trying to get the car back into working condition. This is where Bilstein, for me, showed their commitment to this little project. This right here is the Bilstein show car, which was in the Ring Boulevard opposite the racetrack to try and attract people to come to our pit box. And unfortunately for the show car, it was pretty much the exact same car as our race car and had a few parts in it that we needed, so sorry show car. It was for a worthy cause.
I mean, you can't fault Bill Stein's commitment, can you? They're like, oh, our show car has the parts. All right. They just brought it over here. They're going to cannibalise it and put it on our race car, and we should hopefully make the race. But we'll still see. It's not done yet, but it's looking better than it did earlier on.
Okay, don't worry.
So I colored my hair so
Oh,
I can drive.
no, but we have two blonde and we need a brown. You know, that brown one. It's good. It's not about time, right? I will just go there very slowly.
Now, while Seb Vettel was absolutely ripping around the Nordschleife in his Red Bull, a battle was still raging in the Black Falcon garage. We now had less than half an hour to go until we had to be on the grid or we wouldn't start the race. As a driver, I have to say, I just felt like a bit of a spare part. There's nothing I can do in this situation. I don't have the level of expertise to even offer an opinion, let alone help out on the car. So all I could really do was stand around and try and look important, although we somewhat failed at that. But as the timer ticked down, I poked my head back into the garage and was absolutely stunned. The car was starting to take shape. Bumpers were going back on, headlights were going back in as well, and it started to look like the car that we had began with over 4.5 hours ago. In fact, all that was left was to wrap the front bumper, and against all odds and expectations, our 330i rolled into the pit lane ready to start the NLS 6 hour. Right, so it's a bit of a twist of fate, bit of a rush now because the car is ready and we're going racing. So I'm booted up, we're literally just going to get in the car now, but first ever NLS and I'm starting. Let's go get it.
They're going to send you out of the pit lane, I would imagine 40 minutes time. So they're going to roll the car to the front, so it's chill now, we don't have to stress. They'll belt you in, they'll be very relaxed, then they'll roll us out onto the grid.
Kameras und hier ist einer. I feel amazing. Hot. Excited?
Of course. How can I not be excited, you know? Apart from the heat, that's not so great.
It's building up now. It's building up now. It's a long time coming, you know, that we're racing here at Nürburgring. So I'm really happy. Jimmy's happy. He's probably a bit nervous right now, but we're doing it, guys. We're doing it.
Not nerves, more just anticipation for what was about to happen. Here I was, sitting on a grid in our Bilstein 330i, a car that this morning I thought had been completely written off, but yet here it was, ready to face off against 160 other cars for 6 hours of one of the most grueling circuits in the world. I cannot say enough good things about the extremely talented men and women at Black Falcon. Without them, our car would still be sitting in the paddock looking very sorry for itself. And although I'm usually okay at tuning out all the outside noise, I was very aware of the hundreds, if not thousands of people lining the grandstands, waiting to watch us start this first 6 hour race. I've raced this track countless times virtually and put in thousands of laps, but this was different. This time it's for real.
Good luck and have fun.
Oh man!
Well, there we go. Fantasy of the cars in one piece tonight, I guess. Now, as you can probably see in my face, I was absolutely gutted. I had a rocket of a start and through no fault of my own was collected and had to pit to assess the damage to the car. Where the Porsche collided with us, it had pushed the right rear door into the right rear tyre, which is why I could see a ton of tyre smoke in my side mirror. And I was later told that if I had attempted to continue with that damage, the tyre would have likely burst in a high speed section, so pitting in was probably the better idea.
Two cars crashed, and then as the other car crashed, went into his door. and also a bit of side, but it's mostly door impact. Hopefully the suspension is fine, but it's when it rains it pours.
Regardless, we were now a massive 6 minutes behind the second to last car in our class. Now, due to the length of the pit stop, I came out right in the middle of the GT3 pack. I was about to get my first taste of what it was like to be just assaulted by the GT3 drivers, while still trying to assess if the car was straight or not. At this stage, it was important for me just to try and get my head down and just try and turn some consistent and some quick lap times. Copy. Right, stint 2. That GT coming then. Trying to get in the space on the inside, managed to do it, good. Offline a bit there. Right, let's have a good stint here.
Hey, well, come on now, y'all.
Good too though, Jimmy. We're about a minute now behind the guy in front. We've gained 4 minutes. That car wasn't our class, I'm hoping that's the position. At the start-finish line, can I please have the gap to the car in front? What? Did you say 12 seconds? Whoa! 12 seconds on V8. Good hold, 3 minutes 65 seconds. Good shot, my rearview mirror. Probably just stuck on them. Okay, on the back straight, fuel level is at 20 litres, 2-0. Bit too early, I think having the wrong mistake. We are catching the car in front there, it looks like it's being our class. So there's our goal, he's been catching for the end of a lap. Yeah, this is in our class I think. We're catching him quickly. I'm not sure if they're full gas or not. So we should be able to get by them. With a little flash. He's not seen us. Now he's seen us. Has he seen us? Okay, well. On to the right there by the marshal, code 60. Oh, that's a big one. That's a big one. Drives on the wall.
Okay.
There's a bit of oil on the track at Tiergarten, and it's sticking a little bit at the throttle in some of the fast corners. Just be mindful.
Okay.
But otherwise it's fine.
Well driven, mate. Well driven.
Fun.
Talk to me, mate. I mean, I've called you many things.
After a drink.
After a drink. Which one do you want?
One of the most intense experiences of my life. Like, you think you're being a boss man and suddenly AG3s appear. And they're all rapid and me. I'm just tired now. So that was so intense. Like, you don't get a chance to let your mind rest for a second. I had a really good start, made up I think 6-7 places on the first couple of corners in the arena, and then there was just contact ahead of me. I saw it happen, and I tried to move out of the way, and I think someone in front had it, or to the side had the suspension brake, and just speared into the door of the car. Literally nothing I can do, just bystander in that one, and it caused the rear panel to rub on the right rear tyre. I felt it instantly, and I could smell the tyre rubbing. So I thought, well, either risk it, go on an Nordschleife and have the car have a tyre blow at high speed and right off the car, or come in and get it looked at. So I chose the latter. I think it was the right choice. There's a bit of work had to be done to repair it, and then after that it was just putting in laps. I think, honestly, I think I drove really well. I'm really happy with my driving. Really consistent outside of, code 60s that are random, you can't control those, but I think in the sectors, I think, I'm within a second or so every time. So yeah, so I'm just saying these things. I'm trying to make myself feel better about the fact we got shunted at the start of the race, But Steve's in the car now, so looking forward to seeing what he can do. I had a couple of scary moments with the throttle sticking. I had to tell him that when he got in the car, but yeah, we're still in it. 2 and a bit hours in, and I can go sit down now.
So now, of course, the car handing over to the one and only Super GT, otherwise known as Steve. And he got a bit of a fun stint, this one, because where all the pit stops have been made at this point, all the cars have sort of come back together again. So instead of my stint where I was on my own, Steve got to contend with traffic, and here was the first of it. And you can tell from this move the years of racing experience underneath Steve's belt. Easily up the inside of a Hyundai there into the last part of the course, wasting absolutely no time getting through this traffic. And that's what's important for us right now for the team. We need fast, consistent lap times. Again, remember, we started my stint about 5 minutes behind P11, and now here is Steve battling for P8, coming up behind the green BMW 330i in front. A little bit quick at the moment. You can see just closing in the braking zones, carrying that a little bit more speed through the corners, and it wouldn't be long before coming up to Bergwerk now. Steve would go up the inside, lay on the brakes. Thank you very much. Position gained, and off we go there to chase, hopefully, P7.
We've been invited to a meet and greet, so give people a chance to come say hello. They want to come say hello and meet a very sweaty man.
So, wie sieht's aus? Möchte noch jemand ein Autogramm von Adam Castrodolo als Live-Mobil? What's special about the Nürburgring?
I think it's just one, like the atmosphere and the fans, they're everywhere, like they're in the trees.
Otherwise for us, as a team, we're a new team, so it's all about just getting to know our strengths and our weaknesses. And so far it seems to have got quite a few strengths, which is nice, and not so many weaknesses, which is what you want. I really wish I could have seen it, but
yeah, we came too late, so we didn't see all.
Is that your first race start?
Yeah.
And how were the nerves before? Was he talking, or was he like...
You were alright, to be fair. We started last.
And whilst I was busy hanging out with actual racing drivers, Steve was still out on circuit battling this 330i. You can see the traffic of the Porsche there, just letting the 330 in front back pass. A little bit of a shake of a head from Steve there. But now we come up to yet another car in our class, and all of a sudden this became a three-way battle for P7 in class. Steve making great progress, awesome consistent lap times from him. Up the inside here as the car in front opens the gap, opens his door, and Steve walks through it. But you can see now the car in front has started to pick up the pace somewhat. We're falling back a little bit from the car in front as the Aston Martin looks for a move there in front, doesn't quite make it stick. You can see as well the car getting a little bit nervous. Steve spies his opportunity, takes back the pace on the inside, just about gets squeezed there. Awesome racecraft here from Steve on this stint so far, but this fight would keep going. Look in the mirror as we come down the straight here. Now watch to the inside, Steve heavy on the brakes, but the guy on the inside even later on the brakes comes back through the T1 Monza move, but Steve perceives it, luckily manages to get back ahead again. But this fight would rage on all the way through Steve's stint.
Mad to me that car was in pieces earlier. Black Falcon and the goats. Anyway, ice cream.
Yeah, you're not going to compete with Mike.
I mean, even fifth is already good. So after everything that happened, so I actually went home to pick up my gloves because after the impact, I forgot my gloves at the marshal post. So I went home to pick up my gloves because after the impact, I left my gloves at the marshal post, and we still need to retrieve them. Someone might have a brand new set of gloves. we also ended up walking the dogs and taking 45-minute nap, accidentally, of course, but I'm super rested and full of zen. And now we're gonna listen to some Jean-Michel Jarre. And that's my music, of course. Yeah, no, Steve is doing P5 now, right? I'm hunting for P4.
P5, yeah.
Yeah, so this is, considering everything that's happening, it's like, even this result is already like unexpected. So I'm just gonna go there and keep it, and the rest we'll see.
So you might have heard there from Misha, but we have managed to drag the car all the way back up to P5 in class from P12 and 5 minutes back. So yeah, awesome stint here from Steve, fast and consistent. Look how smooth he is on the wheel compared to my own heart attack driving style, TM. And that didn't mean though Steve could relax, because the Nürburgring often throws up situations like this, three wides, just randomly. Into Septander, Supra on the inside, BMW on the outside, Steve in the middle wondering what the hell's going on, whilst also being blinded by the sunlight here. But you can see very, very competitive in front, and this is where traffic and traffic management really comes into play around this circuit. Look at the car in front, he's not indicating right now, not indicating. He indicates at this last second saying I'm going to stay right. That means Steve's got to go around the outside, try and carry the speed. There's no grip right on the outside there, but Steve just about carries it and back through again. Then just a lap later, you can see what happens when you touch the curb here, just by mistake. He's in the first one, second one touches it, car almost gets away from Steve, but he's been driving too long for anything like that to affect him. But while this was all going on, we found ourselves again, look in the mirror. Hello mate, he's back once again. We're now yet again fighting for position. This time it's the P6 as up the inside attempts to go our long-time rival in this race with a fresh driver at the helm. And now please bear in mind, a lot of the drivers in the 330i's have been driving this sort of class for years and years and years, and they are almost unbeatable around here. So the fact that Steve was even managing to hold them up around here is truly impressive. You see the car now starting to get a little bit nervous over the bumps and over the elevation here at the Nürburgring. You have to just keep the car flat and hope for the best, but on the straight there's not much you can really do to defend, as through comes the 501, the championship winning car from last year, followed by our rival from this race, the green 330i on the right side now, as we are doing 240 kph, about 150 mile an hour, coming now down to Tiergar, and the car barely wide enough here, the road for two cars. We just about managed to keep ahead of one. Steve there showing that he's not going to be pushed around on this. It's awesome to watch Steve drive. I've been driving with Steve since Club 100. He's always been rapid, always been fast, but I can't help but feel a sense of pride that we're both here and both performing. Guys are legends, but even so, legends can't stop dive bombs like this. Look at this, absolutely awesome launch from the car on the inside. Steve gets up the position, and we go back down to P7, but an awesome fight there from Steve.
That was really fun. Knackered. It was a good battle. I had a really good fight with a couple of drivers.
Enjoying like I saw a little battle at the end. That was pretty fun.
Yeah, there was like someone lapping us and someone trying to overtake me. I was like, I don't care. I'm just staying here. Like, you got to lunge me, mate.
Didn't actually ask.
I don't care. Ratios. Yeah.
Tell me about the race. Where are we at? How's everyone doing?
I actually know where we are. We were P5 last time I looked, so around P5, P6, which is good. Obviously we were P12 earlier and like 5 minutes back, so it pulled back a ton of time. Steve took out of the car, awesome double stint from him, kept out of trouble, and now Misha's in to bring it home. About an hour 20 left, and we can say we finished our first NLS. Well, hopefully we can in an hour and 20 time, but yeah, this is it's good, this, isn't it? It's not bad.
And now the car goes into the safe hands of Misha. This man has done thousands of laps around this circuit and knows it like the back of his hand, and he needs that, because you might notice now the sun is going down, and you might also notice that our headlights were not really working as they should have done. Due to the damage we sustained earlier, we had to put in a mismatching headlight, which meant this is what Misha could see. Barely anything, but even so, he was still pushing on. But in the low light, gaps look different, and distances can be misjudged. And unfortunately, we're about to find that out the hard way.
That was sexy, wasn't it? You like that? So the race ends in about 4 minutes, and unfortunately we're not going to be taking checker flag. So as mentioned, Misha got collected. Not his fault. Actually, we're reporting it to race control as an incident. So, but yeah, God, today's been so up and down. But you know what? This perfectly captures what this place is about. It perfectly captures what endurance racing is. You get to have these insane highs and then just like these shattering lows, you know. But to even be here, you know, I always say it to everyone. A bad day at a racetrack is still a day at a racetrack, and what a racetrack to be at, doing one of the coolest series in the world. But we've got another race tomorrow, so another chance to hopefully get a result and get a finish. But yeah, we're all pretty gutted, which I think is fair enough. Anyway, yeah, race one done. We'll leave it off there. Don't have to race too soon.